Hello there. Welcome back to the American English Hub with Jesús Flores. This is my latest IELTS mock speaking test, test number 5. Um, Talk about it in the comments. Tell me what you think I did well during this mock test. I believe overall that my performance was pretty good. There were just a few instances where I could have worded some things a little bit more succinctly. And so I'll let you be the judge there. The teacher did award straight nines for all sections. And so let me know also as well whether you agree or disagree with his judgments. So there you go. Enjoy. And I hope you learned something from this one. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Good morning. My name is Daniel. Could you please tell me your full name?
Yes, my name is Jesus Flores.
And could I see your identification, please?
Yes, this is the document I use for registration purposes.
Great, perfect. So I'd like to ask, do you work or are you a student?
I work a full time job currently in an office here where I live in the city of Battle Creek in West Michigan.
And what do you like most about your work or studies?
I would say that the job that I have, one of the positive things about it is that I know exactly what to expect going into the office every day. And so it definitely helps with processes and confidence. My job is quite predictable, and I like that. I feel like I'm in control.
Is there anything that you would want to change about it?
Ideally, if it were possible, I would like to have more days working from home, especially on days when we don't have hearings um, on our docket in our schedule. Working from home is tremendously beneficial for a number of reasons, but definitely I like the comfort of it.
And do you generally prefer working alone or with others?
Most of the time, I like working by myself. It aligns more closely with my personality. And in as far as I'm able to remember, I've always performed best when I'm working by myself. Now, obviously, I mean this primarily in the context of, well, work as it is right now, but also going back, uh, looking back to my student days.
Is What were your student days like exactly?
I mean, my times in high school and college, there were group projects that I had to be a part of. I was always willing to participate, do my part, pull my weight, as we say. But I always knew that if I could have done some of those by myself, I would have definitely done that.
What is a typical daily routine for you like nowadays?
Monday through Friday, it looks something like this. I always have my alarm set to go off at 6:30 in the morning. That comes, I wake up, I say my morning prayers, then I get around for the day, and I will go to work. My shift begins at 8 in the morning, all the way through 4 p.m. There's a very interesting thing that happens in my particular situation where I can make my lunch really short and I can get out of work at 4 p.m. I have that option, but I would also have the option sometimes of taking a full hour, but I normally don't do that. When I'm home, it is typically around 5 p.m. Most of the time, if I have the chance, I'll go pick up the children from the bus stop, two of my oldest anyway. And then when we're home, it'll just be a mix of family activities, dinner time, screen time for everybody. And then the bedtime routine usually starts around 8:30 p.m.
And which part of that routine do you like the most?
Probably just getting home and forgetting about work. and just shifting gears, focusing on something different, a reset of sorts.
And how has your routine changed throughout the years?
In a number of ways, for sure. Most definitely, it has changed a lot when it comes to the well, now me now being a father and having a full time job in an office. It has introduced new dynamics into life, and it has brought with it its own challenges, but also opportunities for growth.
Opportunities for growth in what ways?
Personality wise, learning about my own strengths and weaknesses. Being a father, for instance, has taught me a lot about patience and understanding when it comes to parenting and educating, the children, instilling good values in them, for instance.
And despite your very busy schedule, do you still have time for hobbies?
Yes, actually, you would think that that would be in short supply. In a real way, it is, but I do find time to do things that I like. I still like playing video games. I also enjoy reading. I have lots of uh, printed material, paperbacks and hardbacks, and also a mix of electronic books on my Kindle.
And are your hobbies different now from when you were young?
Yes and no. I can recall that I really liked also video games back when I was a teenager. I had a PlayStation 2. But I was certainly not an avid reader. I would have not considered myself to be one way back in the day, more than 20 years ago. That has changed now, and I am definitely uh, more keen on the idea of reading than ever before.
Now I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. So before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can take some notes if you wish. Here is your topic. And could you start speaking now, please?
Yes, I'm going to speak about a time very recently in the month of April when I felt extremely busy, and this was because I was scheduled to have a blood draw on April 2nd, 2026, at 7:05 in the morning. It was part of a follow up from my primary care provider. I I was getting around as is normally the case for my morning routine, but it was a little bit different because I had scheduled a pickup with a transportation service locally here in town. And unlike other times when I had used the service, it was uncharacteristically late that time. I remember spending almost 10 minutes on the phone with dispatch 7 of those minutes were just spent waiting to be connected to a dispatcher. Apparently, something happened, and the driver ended up coming or showing up really late. Fortunately, I was not late for the draw, but I could have been if the driver had been only 5 minutes, later, than the time that then when she actually showed up. And it was particularly busy and stressful because it was kind of I was fearing a sort of a domino effect. If I had been late for the draw, I would have been late for my other transportation pickup from the hospital lab to work. That was a work day for me. I had to be in the office at my usual time. And so everything just felt like it was so um, constrained by time. And it could have just been easily I could have been easily been late for work that morning. Luckily, that did not happen, but it was certainly a moment recently that I didn't think that it could get, just, like that so quickly. Um,
Great, thank you. I'd now like to ask a few more questions about this. Do you think that people seem busier today than in the past?
my knee-jerk reaction is to say yes, absolutely. Life, lifestyles, and the ever increasing pace of life gives me the impression, and I can at least speak to that personally, that people are certainly more rushed and busier than ever before.
Do you think that being busy is always a good thing, and why or why not?
To an extent, let me think about that a little bit more for a second. Normally, my basic stance or opinion on the matter is that being busy provides structure for most of people out there whose lives, will probably end up being that way. On the other hand, um, not being able to make time or carve out time for yourself to, well, to do self care can be quite detrimental. And we've all seen instances of broken down, broken health and conditions that can be greatly attributed or primarily attributed to um, really dysregulated levels of stress and just being too busy in general.
How do you think that people can manage their time more effectively?
That's a very tricky question, and it will really depend on your individual situation. So it's really hard to paint with a broad brush here. My basic advice would be to try to be more mindful of the moments when you are actually able to slow down and kind of like be alone with your thoughts. Try to use that as a time to recalibrate, reset, and hopefully that can be one step in the right direction.
Since living in the US, have you found that the US has pretty good work-life balance?
I'm going to say yes. It is actually quite comparable to my experience in Colombia because I did have a full-time job or had jobs there as well. Obviously, the difference is that there are more responsibilities now for me, but I do believe that here in the United States, you can achieve a good work-life balance. It just simply takes some tweaking and some dedication to make it happen. But I do believe that it is possible.
And what are some of the consequences of working too much?
Well, again, just to reference what I was saying earlier, um, a lot of the time, your health is one of the first things to start declining or deteriorating as a result of being overworked and over stressed, to speak very broadly. In addition, it can also people can also experience strain in their relationships and all everything that flows from that.
Do you think that governments or companies should do more to reduce overwork?
I am going to say yes to that. There are definitely avenues to explore, some plans to come up with. One very concrete suggestion I can make here is that perhaps um, it would be desirable to allow the possibility of active pauses or breaks um, in most settings where people are working sedentary office jobs. It would be amazing if people could be given that opportunity to do something that would just simply take you out of your seat or cubicle and get you moving.
And has I want to talk a little bit about technology and time. Has technology made people's lives busier or easier?
You can actually argue for both things. On the one hand, it has streamlined some processes and made some tasks much easier than ever before. I'm thinking of, for instance, here, banking through apps and internet services. This is something that back in the day would have required much more of your time and much bigger of a commitment. Now we can do that in seconds, from the comfort of our own homes. Has it made it busier? Yes, in its own way. All of these technologies always have disruptive effects, and so um, in a way, people are mm, less able to fully unplug. And for loads of people out there, their job never stops following them, and so it's one of these really tricky situations, kind of like the proverbial double-edged sword.
Good. Do you think? So I want to ask, what changes do you think might happen in the future to change the way that people manage their time?
Well, but it is likely that we will see instances of artificial intelligence assistants or agents taking on a more active role, helping us unplug, as ironical as that may sound or as paradoxical as that may sound. But there might just come a time where these agents will help us manage, our time, downtime a little bit more effectively, trying to distribute or trying to help us plan uh, our days more effectively. I would not be opposed at all to the idea of um, some kind of a robotic assistant taking on some menial tasks around the home. And so it might just be something that people will find attractive and convenient.
Great. So could I ask you, Jesus, is it okay if I ask you about just some of the words and phrases from today?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, at this point, I think we can um, make it official that the test would have ended. And so, yeah, so we have about 15 minutes here. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So, just wanted to say first of all, just in almost every single category in lexical resource, I gave you a 9. In grammatical range and fluency, I gave you a 9. In pronunciation, 9. I think just at the very end, toward of part 3, there were some questions. The question in particular that I feel wasn't fully answered. Was, do you think people today seem busier than in the past?
Well,
Uh,
so yeah, sorry. Go ahead. So, yeah, my brain is just running at 100 miles an hour now. So, all right. So, what was it about that that you believe could have been developed more fully?
uh, just I wasn't sure what the answer uh, was. So, uh, could you try that one more time, please, Jesus?
Yeah. Throw the question at me again one more time, just to make sure that I'm retaining it in my short term memory.
Sure, sure. Why do people today seem busier than in the past?
Mm, yes, that one. Primarily, my argument is that people are busier now than before because of uh, more of. Let me rephrase my thoughts there. My basic stance is that people are definitely busier now than before because we live in a time where efficiency is greatly valued and quick turnover times are definitely more important than they might have been before. And there is a great premium placed on things getting done quickly, which arguably was not so much the case in the not so distant past. Everything seems to be um, everything seems to be more rushed in the sense that we really want things done as quickly as possible, and people are going to feel more pressured to just continue working at a task or something, like that. Hopefully, that is a much better answer. But that was the point that I was trying to get across earlier.
Great, great, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful answer. Just some other things I wanted to discuss too. Could I hear your pronunciation for this word, please,
Yeah,
Jesus?
particular.
Great, perfect, perfect. That sounds exactly like U.S. native speaker. Perfect, good. What about this word?
Patience.
Good, very, very good.
Ah, proverbial. Yes, I like
Good, good,
that.
good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good. There was one phrase that I heard a couple of times that I wasn't sure about the meaning of this phrase. So, to get around for the day. So,
Ah, okay. All right. Um, Basically, what I was just trying to say there is that I was just going about my routine or following my daily routine. That's the way that I normally say it. I get around in the morning. You know, there's a laundry list of things to do. So, what was it about that one that you found? I guess different.
uh, so when you say this, you want to say like just when you set up your routine for the day.
Uh huh. Yeah, that's what I was trying. That's what I was trying to convey.
Could you give me another example sentence with this one, please, to
To
get
get around
around
for
for
the
the day?
Well, I could say that most of the time, for me, I start getting around early in the morning. typically 6:30 ish in the morning, 6:45, 7 for sure. Um, that's when the routine uh, you know just gets started.
So I'm trying to think of a more idiomatic phrasal verb for the same situation. Uh,
Okay.
so usually when we use to get around, it's kind of like to say like when we finally have time for something. I think you might know this usage
Oh, yeah,
already.
get
So
around to doing something. Yes. Yeah. But I've always taken that one to be a little bit different, in meaning and also structurally, because you have a different preposition. You get around to doing something. Um, I wouldn't, I mean, I would never confuse that with this one to talk about to talk about what I do on a daily basis.
sure. There was one other phrase. I think this was just maybe a very brief slip up, but just to make sure, just to double check, just so to have blood drawn, we would have just no article. But once again, very, very tiny mistake. Very, very
Oh,
small.
okay.
Very, very small.
Yeah, well, what I said during that part too is that I had a blood draw scheduled.
Okay.
I mean, I was referring to a noun, not the yeah. I forget the specific grammar that you follow this example of getting your blood drawn. In the participle. But yeah, I mean, if it's the event on a schedule, then it is a blood draw. Just a noun, just a compound noun there. But yeah, if I had said, that I was going to, well, the name of the hospital here, sorry, it's just, you memorize these things. Here it's called Bronson Battle Creek, BBC. We have a BBC here too. Funny. But yeah, in that case, I would have changed the phraseology and said I was going there to get my blood drawn. And in that case, I would have definitely used the verb because that's more of a positive, use of the verb.
Sure. I could have misheard. I might have misheard too. I just wanted to absolutely double
Yeah,
check just
fair,
to make
fair.
sure. Make sure.
That's a good one. That's a good because yeah, you're right. Somebody you could have it could have been misheard and misinterpreted. But no, that was definitely not a grammar slip.
Sure, sure. But overall, I think you sound like identical. I think you sound exactly like any other native speaker living in the United States. No identifiable difference between you and any other like native speaker. Like you're totally like perfect, fluent use of like anything that speakers will use. All of the past perfect, the past perfect, the present perfect, the perfect continuous tenses. Uh, every single like idiomatic phrase and phrasal verb, all like perfectly implemented into your speech, with perhaps even like greater accuracy and fluency than many native speakers can do. So, uh, absolutely, absolutely, terrific performance.
Thank you. I appreciate